I'm 680 News senior business editor Mike Eppel. We saw a de-escalation, at least on a temporary basis today, in the trade battle between the U.S. and China. Someone possibly blinked here as China said that it would start trade talks with the U.S. in a couple of weeks' time. And the Trump administration said that those new tariffs that were set to take effect on Chinese exports in early September will now be delayed until December 15th. Markets breathed a huge sigh of relief from this. We saw dramatic swings on Wall Street benchmark stock indicators. The Dow was up by better than 400 points. Some of the hardest hit companies recently, companies such as Apple and Deere and Caterpillar, and even clothing retailer The Gap, saw big gains in equity valuations today, and the cooling off in the bond trade as well. Michael Gregory is the deputy chief economist at BMO Capital Markets. He thinks that maybe the recent economic stats may have had the Trump administration doing a second guess on increasing tariffs.
This latest wave of tariffs into the U.S., Mike, is going to start hitting consumer goods, particularly apparel, particularly women and children's apparel. All of a sudden, those prices are going to be up, at least 10%. Perhaps, the administration is getting some cold feet here that they don't want to see inflation heat up and more noticeable impact of the tariffs, because so far, at least, the U.S. economy has managed them without any major sense that prices have gone up on average across the economy very much. That could change with this next wave.
Now, prior to the U.S. and China's moves on trade, we saw the price for gold today hit a record high, at least in Canadian dollars. The precious metal at north of $1,500 an ounce. If you convert that into Canadian dollars, because gold is priced in U.S. greenbacks, was north of $2,000 for the first time ever in Canadian funds. It was back in 2011 that the price for gold hit its all-time record high of $1,900 U.S., but back then, the Canadian dollar was actually worth more than the U.S. dollar on the currency markets. Well, Uber has been under pressure pretty much ever since its debut on the stock market. The most highly anticipated tech stock sale of the year has been a disappointment for investors. Today, shares of Uber hit a record low, south of $37, now down 17% from the initial price. Uber's been struggling with losses, lost over $5 billion in its latest quarter. Recently announced a hiring freeze here in Canada and the U.S. and looking at cost savings that it continues to adjust to the new market. And General Motors and Volkswagen say they're done with hybrid cars, hybrid electric. Gasoline and electric motors are a thing of the past at GM and Volkswagen. They're going fully electric on 20 new models at General Motors in the near future, focused on the Chinese market specifically, where new emissions restrictions are putting pressure on the automakers to adapt more quickly to a lower emission environment. Toyota, the leader in hybrid cars, says it will continue to produce the very popular Prius and will also look at fully electric vehicles in the future. From the 680 newsroom, I'm Mike Eppel for City News.